A lot of people would say that home is wherever their family is. First home, I mean, childhood, it's like Kelowna. Lived in like 6 different areas in Kelowna. Lived in California and San Jose, first team house. Sort of on my own, at least that's what it felt like. From there, lived in Los Angeles in California, went back to Canada, lived in Vancouver, lived in Germany and Cologne. In between that 2 years, I had to move to Serbia. I got my visa for Malta, and ever since that, been living here in Malta. Traveling is our life, basically. So for me, moving around so much is it's not ideal, but it's also not the end of the world. The funny thing is I never say going back home. I mean, it's a physical place, but it's not one that is staying still. Nowadays, when someone asks me where I'm from, I just say Vancouver because explaining where Kelowna is just very... I mean, I just may as well say Vancouver, that the town is located in a valley, so there's mountains everywhere. Not much has changed, especially Kelowna itself. It's a small place, there's not much going on. Growing up in Kelowna, I don't know, it's difficult to say really, because the issues I experienced in my childhood can happen anywhere in the world. Some of the most challenging things were, I think, poverty. My family was definitely not doing good money-wise. We moved frequently within Kelowna. You know, it's never a good situation when you have to rely on the government to assist you in life. Besides growing up in a broken family. And at the time, you don't really know why parents separate at a young age. And my mother ended up in a not so great relationship, which ended up being abusive for both of us. And my dad moved away to another province and kind of had another family to take care of, per se. It's probably what's made me appreciate the good people even more. I first discovered Counter-Strike through a group of friends that I played League of Legends with back when I was like 13, I think. You know, people started telling me that I'm very good at the game, that I have good mechanics and so on. And that was around the same time I got into FPL. When I got into FPL, I got picked up by SKDC.
First heard of Twistzz in FPL. We were just trying out different players, looking at some of the young talent. Me and Daze actually at that time had a chat on who he thought was some of the up-and-coming talent, and Russ's name kind of popped up. So, you know, let's get you in some scrims, try you out, see what you're about, and I think one thing just led to another, and
eventually I found out that Ocean was living in the same city as me the entire time.
I thought he lived in Vancouver, and then he ended up just saying that he couldn't get a ride from school to home, so he had to wait and take the bus. Just like, yo, where do you live kind of thing, and he's like, I live in Kelowna. I was like, wait, what? We live in the same place? That's kind of when I started picking up for our Pro League matches. I think he got out of school around 3. And our pro matches started at 4. So I'd rip to the school in my car, pick him up, and rip back, and then just for us to start our Pro League matches. Just getting him out of his shell was cool, and yeah, he definitely was a more quiet kid, we should say.
I will say not all of school was like bad. I mean, there was definitely some friends, but bullying was a huge aspect of it, as well as not always having the best housing situation. Family environment. When you grow up, you kind of just realize how shit the kids can be. As a person who wants to be a father one day, it's a scary thing to realize, because I feel like it only has gone worse, to be honest. I cannot imagine how it is in some schools now. This is things that added on to me kind of just wanting to be in my own place and play games with people that are friendly and nice. First time I got salaried was TSM, and that was when I was 16. That was when I pretty much officially moved away from Canada. All the other players were in the team house with no plan really. I mean, there was no furniture or anything. It was only our setups and a bed. Mom just gave me the green light to ditch school. I mean, she was very skeptical still of like a contract and what it means and having to move away, and she was unsure of the people that I would meet or where I would be. I mean, she never was in America before. Quickly, she realized that it was no joke. I think there was some drama back then that someone wanted to come into the CS scene and franchise everything. A lot of people were not a fan of that, and I think Sean Garris was one of the main people to kind of stick up against it, say this is bad. And I don't think TSM liked that very much, and his contract, I think, was terminated almost instantly. I think it broke something legally that caused us to be able to go to a different organization. So I think the core of the team went to the other organization to join him. Considering I was only on Misfits for, I think, 3 or 4 months, I went back home to Canada. I think we only attended one LAN, which was DreamHack Vegas. We played VP and Fnatic, both top 3 teams, so that was great. Quick event exit right there. That was when I really first started to feel like I'm learning CS the right way. I think Sean Garris was a great leader to play under. He kind of taught me the game in a way that's easy to understand for me. I think I was on the radar of Liquid as a potential pickup. I just think there was accusations of cheating. I kind of just went with wherever life was going and living in the moment.
The first time I heard of Twistzz was in 2017. We were scouting for a new player, and this like really young, like snappy aimer just kept coming up in our discussions.
Even on TSM, I was talking to Nitro, and sometimes Alish. I would be asking them like what I can do better if they're watching my games. Nick was already becoming a friend, I would say, and a person that was kind of looking at me as like a potential pickup for Liquid in the future. And then that is when I got in touch with Steve.
Counter-Strike was way more like regionalized, and there wasn't as many international teams. Hearing that there was like a young up-and-coming aimer from Canada, like, okay, we need to investigate this.
The team that I had this like dreams of joining was the team that wanted to offer me a spot, so.
2018 was probably one of the hardest years that we had to deal with.
We made many finals, but could never win.
I think it was like 8 second places in a year, and losing to the most dominant team Counter-Strike's ever seen, and getting someone else's confetti in your backpack over and over again gets old really fast.
We're playing the final boss in every event. Most of the finals against Australis were competitive. I mean, not that we could win a map, but both the maps would be like 16-13, like 16-14.
Once we broke like through and won an event, the whole like vibe just changed. We can do this now.
Without a doubt, in 2018, we were the second best team. Even individuals were playing better. I was playing at a much higher level. Each person in the lineup had a positive impact on me. When we won the Intel Grand Slam on Liquid, it just happened so fast. We went to like 5 events in a row and we closed it out. Started with IM Sydney, won Pro League, went from Pro League to DreamHack Masters in Dallas, played great CS there to Cologne. I think it was actually when we were in the playoffs of Cologne, it's like when we realized like, what the fuck, we're actually like, it's right there. Like the Grand Slam is like on the other side of this event. I mean, to win Grand Slam on the Cologne stage, I think we're the only team to do that. Yeah, definitely a memorable moment in my career.
It created an aura in our team of like invincibility, and players that needed to get over the hump and get that extra bit of confidence, like your Elysias and your Twistzz and your Nafs, finally got it.
Looking back at it, and obviously the teams that have won Grand Slams, it makes it even a more impressive feat for the team. I will say I think the real change in life happened for me after meeting Caro. She's German. She lives in Cologne.
The first time I saw Russ was actually 2019 when he won the Inter Grand Slam.
Cologne after party, like we just like kind of noticed each other. There was no exchange of words or anything.
I think we acknowledged each other's appearance or existence in this case.
But she just looked so like chill. It just felt like she was my person in a way. Outlooks on life, maturity, everything just aligned. Won Grand Slam, won some of the biggest events in the game. Met my now fiance, and then COVID hits and everything shuts down and borders close and CS is kind of segregated into 2 regions. Definitely sucks. I was in Los Angeles, but Liquid quickly gave a company-wide PSA, like, go home, basically, and then borders close. And it all happened very fast, abruptly. I've tried to kind of forget about some of the shit that happened that year. CS was not going well. What used to be the thing that you love to do every day is no longer that thing. In a way, it made me resent being with my family because I just felt like I had things taken away from me, that I could not stay where I actually wanted to stay and be with the person who I want to be with. In some ways, it just felt like life was collapsing on me, and I had to find answers for that. Leaving Liquid, initially, the team did not want to relocate to Europe. The regions were completely separated, and if you're going to have an impact in the game, you have to be in Europe, because that's where the biggest events are, and that's where you have a chance to really excel as a team. In general, the team environment was not good, but certain people did not get along with each other. Yeah, it just felt like a good time to leave, considering my contract was kind of nearing its end. And my girlfriend at the time was living in Germany, so I think everything everything was appealing and made it easy to do.
That was actually my last games with Team Liquid. That could be exciting to some people, or very bad news for a lot of Team Liquid fans.
I felt kind of at peace instantly afterwards. I didn't even go back to Canada. I just took what I had to my fiance's apartment. I set up there. It was just at peace, and I felt like there's going to be something for me anyway.
Hello?
He reached out to me when I was in Mal still. Of course, there was rumors about me rejoining FaZe coming to the new year.
Christmas 2020 was when Russ also met my family for the first time. The day before Christmas, when we were sitting on the couch with my mom, Russ left basically to have a phone call with Kerrigan.
Meeting Caro's family for the first time, and I have a call with Kerrigan for the first time. He just knew what I can do in game, and he wanted to help me get there.
I wanted to win. I think that's what he needed to hear, because I think rough times in Liquid, and he just wanted to kind of move to a European team, play a new style, and also, of course, with his girlfriend staying in Germany, it just kind of all made sense that he came to play with us.
In some ways, being on a European team instantly gave me more of a home feeling. The FaZe guys were perfect for me. We just knew each other's decisions all the time without vocalizing it. This was the team to succeed as an international team, to really make it and prove that this is possible, to win a major and then also win a Grand Slam. Just shows the depth and the levels that roster had. Katowice was, I guess in some ways, a fairy tale run. Rops is COVID, JKS is filling in for Rops, and then Rain gets COVID, JKS stands in for Rain. We don't drop a map until... We don't drop a map. Actually, in playoffs, we don't drop a single map with JKS. I mean, Eddie is a funny character, but for a manager to be setting in the coach position, being part of the major win, I get chills right now, because it's I do rewatch the winning moments of some of the tournaments, and that one in particular Kerrigan gets like the final kill, and before that even is happening, me and Robs are looking at each other in disbelief, basically. Yeah, I think for them it's very, very beautiful moment in our careers, to be honest. That was completely different than the first Intel Grand Slam. We had 3 wins so early on. 1 Cadu, 1 Pro League. The major did not count, and then we won Cologne, which was another like thrilling final. We knew we were running out of opportunities. I think after the event there was only 2 more chances. And Pro League we just took a more chill approach in groups and everything. But I think the second we hit the playoffs, everyone just like flipped the switch. This is it. Like it's now or never to close out the Grand Slam. Definitely, if there was ever a lineup that was deserving of those achievements, it would be that roster for sure. I mean, I've played with pretty good IGLs actually in my career. I mean, Shungaris, Nitro, Kerrigan. There was something to learn from all of them, but I'd say if there's one to look up to the most, it would be Kerrigan for sure. Leaving FaZe, I mean, even thinking about it now, it's just a lot of unfortunate things happened at the time. Maybe a change is necessary for both sides, because I was not able to play like consistent good CS. FaZe unable to give transparency as to why a lack of talks happened. If I stay, is there still like an organization, or that pretty much just sparked the move back to Liquid. I didn't feel like limited, like I was really happy to play in the trio and I understood my role very well in the team, but I was also interested in still growing as a player. It also wasn't made to like get back closer to home, because I feel like I still see this a comment a lot where, you know, oh, you wanted to be closer to North America again. That's just not true. I mean, I live in Europe, my life is in Europe. It's hard in the scene to find a person who genuinely cares. I don't know, just Uncle Steve, I don't know. I mean, he is such a honest and friendly person, and he values my opinion, so I feel like I can help dictate, you know, what is the future of the team in a way. And it was more of like a pride feeling too, that if I can go back to Liquid and build a winning team here and get the organization back to what used to be, you know, the player that they drafted comes back and tries to bring the winning formula. Wanting to escape in some way, I don't think it comes from negativity. It just, I think, comes from wanting to see the rest of the world, but also wanting the urge to take a leap in life. I feel like people that never leave their hometown, they plateau as a person at some point in life.
I think Russel is most at home when he's in a practice room, like in the zone and doing his thing. When he is just grinding away and talking about the game that he's loved and given his life to.
I think he also feels most at home when he's with his team, like in the practice room. I hope that he also thinks he's most at home when he's with me, but I think that's more like on the private side, since like CS is obviously a huge part of his life too.
We are traveling 200 days a year, so being in the practice room is actually feeling relaxed, shutting the door, no cameras, and we can always just go full ham.
Home for me is now wherever my fiance is and where I play the game. 100%. I would go through everything again. Despite knowing, you know, the bad things too, I would go through everything again. I didn't really think of what I can achieve. It was more of like, I saw the event and I said, I can be there.